All right, what's up, everyone? Happy Monday. Let's try this again. This is round 2. So we're still in renovation mode, as I was saying. We just had a lot of stuff going on at our house. So we're moving back upstairs, which is awesome.
It's coming together.
And I forget what else I was saying, but it doesn't matter. So what's today? The 3rd. We're recording on Sunday. This will be out on Monday, which is November 4th.
May the 4th be with you if you're a Star Wars
May the
fan.
4th be with you, you said the first time. Your mic still sounds not great.
I don't know why.
Turn it so it's facing you. See the letters? You need to face you.
Hello?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
All right, here we are. So we've got about 2 months left. So we were going to talk about some of the things that we're doing, some of the things that listeners might be able to do to kind of prep and have a good last solid 2 months of the year. Because I think a lot of people, what happens is you're like, oh, it's going to get busy. So you take your foot off the gas. And that's probably the opposite of what you should be doing. So
yeah, agreed.
We can get into that
Okay.
after our opening takes, which I think when we first started, you said you wanted to go first.
Yeah, I'm ready. So what I've learned over the last couple weeks we have home renovations and then we had a lot of stuff just break at the salon is we talk all the time about having a team around you. And when I say team, I don't mean like your staff, a team of people that when shit hits the fan, you can call. Like we've had to call and reach out to our lawyer. We've had to find someone to do appliance repair. We've had to get a plumber in. We've had to get, someone else in. But when you have the arsenal of these people that you can just find on your phone and call, even though it's stressful as these things are breaking down and you need to reach out for help, when you have a team of people that you trust and you know they'll get the job done, you don't have to start problem solving for things that you don't know how to do. I don't know how to fix drains, so I have a drain guy. I don't know how to put sinks in, so we have a guy that does that. Our dryer vent, we have a guy that does that. So even though it's been stressful over the last couple of weeks with
It's all the same guy, by the way.
Not the drain guy. The drain guy's not. With these things breaking down and they're not things that we're able to fix, we have the people that support us that aren't salon related that could come in, step in, and get the shit done for us. And that took a lot of the stress off as an owner. And one of the hats that we don't have to wear was just, I'm not the fix it guy, but I'm going to call all the people that we need to call to fix it. So if you don't have a team of people in place, from an accountant to a lawyer to plumber, electrician guy, you should work on that. And I would do it right now.
It's a great take. So mine, I saw this somewhere. I don't remember where, but somebody said there was a disconnect when they were working with people that weren't in the hair industry and that they only wanted to work with hair industry specific, like people. And I thought that was really kind of a weird thing because I'm the opposite. I want my accountant to understand tax law, not know what the word balayage means. I don't give a shit if they know what that means. It's irrelevant to the conversation. So I always get confused. And I've actually had people in the past that are like, I would never work at a salon that the owner wasn't behind the chair. And I'm like, why? What other place do you have that in? That's ridiculous.
Right.
Like, name a place. Like, do you only call the police if the chief is in? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't understand. I'm only going to the restaurant if the head chef that wrote the menu is there. It doesn't make sense. So why do people think that way? So that was just something, I guess that's a question, but that was just something that I found interesting and I 100% wholeheartedly disagree with. I think people are probably more comfortable and they want their echo chambers. So they want to hear you're right, it's so hard in this industry, when in reality, you have to think about business as business.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what industry you're in. Like, that's just an excuse. Yes. Every business is the same. You take in money, try to get it to the bottom line. Money's going to leak out in certain areas. You have your overhead, all that stuff. And then you have your fixed costs, and then you have your taxes, and you have your loans and whatever. And that's why you need a good accountant. Mm-hmm. But basically, money comes into a business and you find ways to get it to the bottom line. And that's the money that you get to keep. Some of it goes to your staff along the way. Some of it goes to products. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's all the same. It's all the same. It's not any different. All right, let's dive into what we're talking about, which we're not even really sure. because we're kind of having this laid back holiday approach. So November starts our quick podcast where
Yes.
we get in and out 15, 20 minutes. I'm sure some of them will go over, but we want to keep it short. Again, if you've been following along since last year, you already know that around the holidays, people get busy. So they're not going to sit around listening to us yap for an hour. So we try to make the episode shorter, and it helps us too because we have other stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like today, we're having family over. I made some meatballs.
Smells
We're going to
so
eat.
good.
It does smell good. We're going to eat. We're going to hang with family, hang with the kids, and have ourselves a Sunday.
Yes. Sunday fun day.
So there's 2 months left. And it's funny. I saw a lot of people. I didn't check our numbers, but we had a pretty decent October.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of people that were like, October, I've never seen it this slow. The industry, something's wrong. I've seen this all over the place.
I've seen it too.
Is that from? What's that? What's going on there?
I don't know.
Why are people so slow?
I have no idea because we're doing really well.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, I don't know why some salons are slow right now. I haven't really looked into it. It was just an observation. So either way, we've got 2 months. What should people be doing?
Well, I can tell
What are some things people can do to maximize? So you've got a bunch of people that are going to come in. November for us tends to be busier than December. I think people have that backwards a lot of times, although maybe December is busier for others, but for us, it's November. It's a killer month.
Absolutely.
And December is not by any means slow, but
it's not like November. A lot of people are cramming into November to get their, if they're on a budget, get their hair done for 2 holidays. And that's why you get it done before Thanksgiving. So you see, I think, a really big push coming into the next couple of weeks, more so than you do in December.
And so knowing that it's going to be that busy, what are some things that you do in the salon? What are some things our staff is working on, if anything?
I think there's a couple of things well, Todd, I always talk about making sure that they're meal prepping, having water. Like those things may seem really silly, but when you're maybe not a stylist that's been super busy this year or ever, when it gets busy, it's very easy for all of your systems to collapse and how you work and your workflow if you haven't prepped your food and your water. And I say that because if you're used to just, ordering out and having it come and you always have time to eat, these next couple weeks, it's going to be very different. If your food came after your break, well, now you got to find a different time to eat. Where if you prepped your food, you brought it, you bring your snacks, it really helps you stay on your A game so that you can be the best stylist, colorist, barber that you are, hair pro, in this busy time. And I know, and Todd, from the gym, if you do not fuel your body correctly, you will collapse and you'll feel so drained, more drained than the person that's actually eating the right foods. It's really important over the next 2 months, and just to keep your health up so you aren't so susceptible to getting sick and things like that, right? If you start burning yourself out, and usually we are because there's parties going on, there's people do the Friendsgiving and they have this party and that party. So you're out and about more. So it's really, really important to make sure you're maintaining your health by, working out if you do, and just eating healthy and really packing your food. That would be, I feel is the most important so that you can maximize being in the salon and really taking advantage of how busy it will be.
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely second that. Like we have a young staff, and so hearing them and hearing other people we talk to in the industry, there's a lot of like anxious people out there. There's a lot of people that struggle with all sorts of things. Your diet has a huge impact on that, whether you like it or not. I know that when you're 19 through 24 or whatever age, there's an age range where anybody older than you knows absolutely nothing, even though we've been alive for double your life. But I promise you, if you're listening and you're like, I don't feel that great and heading into the holidays and I'm stressed out and blah, 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 try to focus on yourself, do something for yourself. I think I put that in my newsletter last week where I challenged people to take some time and do something over the weekend for themselves. There's a reason on airplanes they tell you to put your mask on first.
True. I love that.
Because if you're junk, you're not going to be able to help anybody. What did you say?
I said I love that analogy.
Yeah, it's true. If you aren't feeling good and if you're not taking care of yourself, and you don't have to be a hardcore gym person, but you should be moving your body. Standing behind a chair is not exercise. I know it's being on your feet, but your body needs more than what you're doing on a regular daily basis.
Right.
So a little bit of training will help you. It helps a lot with your even small things that can wear you down, like poor posture. Pay attention to yourself while you're doing a haircut. Like, how are you standing? things like that. But definitely, I love the diet thing because people we see it at our salon too. We have a younger staff, and it's Uber Eats, and it's fast food, and it's this and that. And then, it's missing a day of work because you don't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wonder why,
Yeah.
And you can always tell because everyone goes through like little bursts of like, I'm drinking water and I'm doing this. And that's good. You got to do that more.
Yeah.
Now keep doing that,
It's so important.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely super important. What are some things people can do from a business standpoint to prep for maximizing the holiday rush?
So I like maybe revisiting your goals for each individual
It's a good one.
hair pro that's under your roof. And even like we have a large staff, and everybody's goals are different, and everybody takes them differently from like a level of being fun to not fun, whatever. But I think just kind of touching base and saying like, hey, I think even making sure that they realize how present they need to be over the next 8 weeks. Like they're young and they're up and coming, and they don't, just because you think they know, they don't know. So like, hey, there's shifts available. If you wanted to pick an extra one up through the holidays, I would recommend it, because the more people you see, the odds are if you can retain them, you're going to see them next year. So it's a great time. There are people that get their hair done like twice a year, and this is the time they get their hair done. So you want to be available in that salon as much as possible to meet all the people. So I think as a salon leader, it's really important to just kind of touch on maybe the goals. Where are they at? Where were they last month? Get them to try to beat that this month. If you're into retail sales, same thing, like, hey, this is where you're at, but you could maximize by, selling a few more products, and talking about these things with them to get them kind of more like re-inspired and excited about the holidays and all that like they can get out of it, rather than just a paycheck, but they can get out of it more clients next year that will come back to them. And if they don't see that and they don't have that vision, then it's very easy for them to kind of just get lost. Like, yeah, it's busy, cool, but you have to like teach them like this is the time where you can truly build and build a foundation that sets off 2025 to be a stronger year for you, as it should be. But you have to really, I think, show them that the importance of the next 8 weeks and what it can do for them in their career in the future.
I love that you brought up retention early on. I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's where I was going to go
Yeah.
next. You have an opportunity because you're going to see a bunch of people, like you were saying. So, what are some things that you can do? I'm asking sort of the audience, if you're listening, what are some things that you can do to improve your odds of seeing these people again?
Mm-hmm.
Because what if somebody comes in, they're a new client, and they're not a twice a year haircut or whatever person? What if they're like an every 6 week person? Now you have an opportunity to see somebody in your chair every 6 weeks,
Right.
but you've got to form that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to capitalize on that. You've got to ask yourself, I would say, am I virtuous? Am I doing the small things that are super common uncommonly well?
Mm-hmm.
Am I pushing myself and challenging myself? And the answer doesn't really matter. It's just that you ask the question. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's where people get caught up too, where they're like, I haven't really taken any classes. I haven't really worked on any skills. I haven't really done anything. So I'll just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a way to go.
Right.
Buddies out there listening, little buddies.
I think
That's
this
definitely not
this
the way to
time of
go.
year
You've got to,
will expose all the weaknesses too, right? Because like you said, you can't really get any better. You're already there. It's going to be busy. Whatever it is, the work you've put in this year is going to shine for those of you that have put the work in, and the opportunities you will be seeing will hopefully be rewarded for you.
yeah. And even if you haven't put in much work, there are things that you can focus on now. And I always go back to the fundamentals, right? Virtuosity is
Mm-hmm.
just chasing that and trying to be like, for example, I try to work clean always with whatever I'm doing. I don't like a mess around me. I don't know if it comes from cooking. Like you can't have a mess around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that you could immediately clean up.
Yeah.
Maybe revisit your timings. Maybe certain services aren't taking you as long, and that's great. But maybe other services you're putting a little extra into it, and it is taking you a little longer. Well, adjust your timing so that you're not running into where you have
Mm-hmm.
clients now that are standing there waiting, because that's the worst possible scenario. Is when
Correct.
I'll be at the salon and they're like, "Hey, I have an appointment with so and so," and there's still someone in their chair getting their hair finished, and that to me is stressful. And I know that it's never going to be perfect, and that's not what I'm saying, but if you're somebody that's noticing that you're running late all the time or even a couple minutes, like why not just add that couple minutes
Yeah.
so that you don't have that stress? You're not using it. I
Mm-hmm.
know you think like, well, then less people will be able to get in if I take more time to do that. Well, it's less people are able to get in now.
Right.
It's just less stressful.
Yeah. And
So
your retention will reflect off that. You keep running late all the time. Unless you attract all the late people, which maybe you do, eventually they're going to get frustrated because they're going to be like, I
no, what
am
I
on a time
notice is the
commitment
late
too.
people. What I notice is that the hair pros that run late all the time, their clients are almost always early. It's just the way it
Mm-hmm.
works. That's what I've noticed. I know that's not any sort of scientific study or anything like that, but what I've noticed is we have people that are always behind, always run late. That's just how they are because you need those people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone's going to show up early. Not everyone's going to be on time. You need the late people because what else will we be talking about today? But their clients are always 20 minutes early and they're always 5 minutes late.
Right.
It's just the way the world works. What about, is there any thing people can do with software, any inventory tips or tricks? You do all that stuff for our salon.
So, one of the things that I'm really aware of this time of year is back orders, which means the products that you use the most of, it just happens because everyone else uses it and everyone's ordering more this time of year because they are busier. And you could blame everything else, but at this point I just take control of it and I'm ordering extra of things to keep on hand. They're not, nothing will go bad, so we'll use it again next year. But when I talk about ordering extra though, I'm not talking about holiday and that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the
That's where I
working,
was going to go next.
yeah, the working
Holiday
product that we
tips.
need to do the services at the level that is set as a standard at Hello. So that means extra developers that are most popular, extra colors that are most popular, certain treatments that are most popular, making sure we have extras of those this time of the year. So when back order things come up, we're not scrambling or I'm not scrambling or getting stressed out or having to coach the staff how to, we can still make this work. This is what we have to do. We are trying to create an environment for them that's as least amount of stress as we can. And by having the working product that they need, it creates that so they can still be creative. So there's a couple years ago, a lot of things were back ordered and it was very stressful. And I think from that experience was just like, okay, we just need to make sure I have a couple more always on hand. And I think now's the time you make those orders to get ahead of it. So when everyone else is scrambling, realizing like in 2 weeks, like, wow, I was way busier than I thought. And now they can't get the products they need.
One of the things I would look at too is your sort of shifting gears. You do all that stuff at our salon, so I don't have anything really to add.
Yeah.
I know how you do it. I know you do, you look for sales on things so that we can bulk order and always have things, and you do a great job at it.
Thanks.
One of the things that I do for our business, and I would recommend that people that are in charge of their social media, their marketing, their emailing, all that sort of stuff, have a plan, have a game plan. You can get tons of great content over the holiday, but you don't have to be doing it live. Like you
Right.
can get your content set up for ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I just had to hit the pause button. You can get your social media stuff set up, at least have something to post weekly or every few days or whatever. Maybe do your captions, have some pictures somewhere stuck in a folder on your phone so that you always have something like at the ready. I would definitely look ahead and see what days and where things fall. Like the holidays are coming. When does Thanksgiving fall? Like it's late this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's the 28th or something.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a Thursday. What does that week look like? What about Christmas? What about New Year's Eve? Don't be surprised by this stuff. I've said this a million times too. Like we know we have calendars. The holidays come in the same time every single year. It should not be a surprise. I hear people all the time that are like, holidays snuck up on me. How? How does
Yeah.
that
You didn't
happen?
prep.
Doesn't even make sense. Yeah, you're just somebody that doesn't, you're just not taking accountability for yourself.
Yeah.
So do some of that stuff. And you don't have to have everything perfect, but by having a couple of ideas, even for the podcast, for our newsletter, for a whole bunch of stuff, I always have a notes app in my iPhone where if I have a random idea, I just throw it in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm going to use it this week. I don't know if I'm ever going to use it.
Right.
But I know that I have lists that have different ideas and thoughts and whatever for posts at the ready
Mm-hmm.
so that I don't have to stress if there's a time where I'm like, I'm not really even sure what's going on. Or if, who knows, say you're not feeling well and all of a sudden that's the beginning of your week. And then all of a sudden it's Thanksgiving and
Mm-hmm.
you're like, I need something for my newsletter or I need to post something. Well, you have a backup in a way.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
We talked about
I have something else to be
inventory,
mindful of.
supplies, preparing your team, social media marketing. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
So I think we're coming into the season of where it's like the gifts of giving, right? Giving. And I see a ton of posts of like, what are you guys doing for gifts for your team? What are you doing for this? What are you doing for gifts for your clients? What are you giving, right? And I think this is a slippery slope, and you do you. So we are really careful. Like Todd said, I'm in charge of the inventory. So my rep's going to come in and she wants me to buy all the holiday shit to put up for selling. And she's going to explain to me that
No,
buy all this holiday stuff. You can always redo this after, whatever.
no.
I my last salon, I got sucked into it where we were like paying in terms over like months. It was crazy to get holiday in, and then holiday's over and I have all this holiday shit.
Yeah,
If
no.
if you're in the retail game, maybe holiday makes sense for you. But if you are not, then I think that rep's doing her job, the distributor's doing their job, but it's your job to decide if that works for your mission and what the flow is in your salon. We do not
Yeah, no.
do holiday because it doesn't make sense for us. We don't sell a ton of retail. We decorate the salon. I love that. It feels like holiday, but I don't need a bunch of holiday retail crap in the salon. Now, again, if that's you, that's fine, but also make sure you're being
It's just, to
mindful.
me, it's a bunch of extra packaging. It's
It
so
totally it
wasteful. All
is.
these salons are like, we're green salons, and then you have all this
Yeah,
shit that's like
nothing.
extra packaging
Yeah.
for no reason.
So I think
Like,
it's
it's
just
just stop.
being aware and making sure that that aligns with you. The second thing is, are you profitable? So if you are not profitable, and I can tell you right now, Todd probably has the numbers, a small percentage of salons in North America are profitable. So if you are not, the idea of giving a bunch of shit away is not going to make you more profitable. So those are things you're like, well, everyone's doing all this stuff. Cool. Don't compare yourself to the 99 who's giving away free gift cards or whatever it is when you are not a corporation like the 99. So just because you want to give and give and give, because it's a lot of us, like that's our language of love, right? I want to give all the gifts. But if you're not profitable, then giving is not going to be one of the things you're able to do this holiday. And if you are, then you would sit with your accountant and be like, what does this look like for what we can do for certain things so that we still maintain our profitability? It's really easy to get into some of these pages we see on like Facebook or whatever, and everyone's like, what's everyone else doing? Well, you're not everyone else, and your numbers are not the same. You cannot follow what everyone else is doing. You need to know what you're doing under your roof and what your, again, numbers say that you can do for the holidays. It's very important.
Yeah, what everyone else is doing is irrelevant. I talk about that all the time too.
Mm.
If I see everybody heading that way, I'm like, maybe I should go that way. Because generally, most people are followers, and that's okay. I'm not knocking it. If you want to go on Facebook groups and get ideas and stuff, go for it. That's cool. That's what that stuff is for.
Yeah, an
But I
idea.
wouldn't copy stuff verbatim, word for word. And we see that a ton in
Mhm.
this industry. We see. I've been to talks and education stuff and seminars and whatever you want to call them, and then I'll see like other local salons that are just
Mhm.
doing word for word what was at the talk, and I'm like, why are these people don't like? Just because somebody gave you an example of something that worked for them doesn't mean that it's going to work for you.
Right.
It's just an example of something that worked for them. First of all, most people are fucking liars.
True.
So when they're telling you how awesome they are, they're probably not as awesome as
Mhm.
they're saying they are. Those $1 million stylists out there putting on, how they make that money? By selling you a freaking course, not behind the chair. Anyways, I'll stop before I lose it because I was in a good mood and I still am. Anything else you want to talk about, or are we wrapping
No, I
here?
think those are some really good points. And I think if we're keeping it short and sweet, I like it.
Okay, cool. Any closing thoughts? I don't think I have anything.
Put your support team in place. And when I say that again, I mean not your staff support team. Get an accountant, have a lawyer, electrician, plumber, all those things. You need to have them on your speed dial.
Oh, I have a gift idea people can have.
Yeah, okay.
So you want to give your staff something? Give them a secure place to work at.
Yes.
Work on yourself, work on your business, and be a real, actual leader. That's the best
I
thing
love
you could
that.
probably give them. And if they don't appreciate it, find the people that will. Because
Yes.
we've gone through several iterations of our team at Hello, and this one right here that we're on, November 2024. If any of them are listening, we have a fantastic team that buys into the
Yeah.
vision and the mission that we laid out and we put together, and they help us drive that
Yes.
forward because they believe in it too.
It's amazing. Rock
Yeah,
stars.
it's very amazing. So go us. All right. Thanks for listening. Get on our email list if you're not already. Check out our website. And if you want to chat to find out how we can help your business, reach out.
Yes, we're here.
All right. Bye.